Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Tuesday, the 22nd of February, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, I'll tell you guys, I expected all this turn down in the market, to happen. I said it wasn't, it's acting exactly like I said it was going to happen. So we're there now. So what comes next? Next is coming. The Fed's going to change direction. But how much further will the market slide and the economy slide before they change direction? Well, I don't really know. But what's really important is what comes after that, after they turn, after the Fed's pivots and everything and goes back to having to support the system. Then is the big squeeze. They've been holding down, tamping down the consumer prices and on almost everything. They've been holding it down somewhat. It would have went up a lot more. There was a little bit of truth when Federal Reserve Chairman Powell said that this would all be transitory. There was a little bit of pressure, downward pressure from that on inflation. There was. But it was only a small amount. It wasn't enough to cover it. Let's just put it that way. So inflation continued to trudge upwards. Now, it's been held down and tamped down a little bit while the Fed's doing what they're doing right now with these tight monetary policies, which are actually to the extreme. When they change direction, that's going to be over, and then the big squeeze is going to come. Now, what I mean by the big squeeze is it's going to be on the people's personal finances. Everybody's going to feel it, and some are going to feel it more than others. Low-wage earners are going to feel it the most. The poor are going to feel it the most. And everybody's going to feel it, though. Your money's not going to go as far as it used to. It's as simple as that. And that's what the big squeeze is all about. And that's going to last for quite a long time, and we're going to see. And this is why I'm talking 2 years. But why this is going to fold down in the end and everything's going to fold in on itself in the end, at the end of the big squeeze, maybe a couple years from now. I mean, it might take 2, 3 years. It could, if we're very lucky, it might take as much as 5 years. But ultimately, it will lead to a conclusion because energy. That's the reason, one of the big reasons why, is going to be energy. Unless we come up with something new, really quick, like nuclear fusion, to supply the world with energy. These old theories about the Earth the Earth produces oil. No, there's oil reserves down there. And when they're gone, they're gone. And as they disappear, the new oil is deeper, harder to get to, costs more money per barrel. It's got to do with how many barrels does it take to get a barrel out of the ground. It used to be, it didn't take very much energy to get that barrel of oil. As time's progressed and oil's gone deeper, it takes more energy to get that one barrel. When it gets to a 1-to-1 ratio where it takes a barrel of oil to get a barrel of oil, see where I'm going with this? Anyway, let's get in there and open up the charts and take a look at the markets today. Let's start the charts right here and take a look. First thing at silver price is up 27 cents. Now, see, this is the thing about silver, guys. It's so energy. It takes so much energy. It's all about energy. Getting silver out of the ground and into a coin for you to buy at your local coin store, it takes so much energy you wouldn't believe. If you were to take the amount of energy that it was required to get that 1 ounce of silver, and if you were to use it to heat your home with, that exact same amount of British thermal units, BTUs, I dare say it would heat your home for a week or more. Probably heat your home for a whole week. If you could release the energy it took to get that ounce of silver. That's how energy. And cryptocurrencies take a lot of energy too. Not as much. you know, for a Bitcoin, I hear it takes $7,000 worth of electricity just to get one Bitcoin. Do you realize the people that are mining these Bitcoins are getting the cheapest price on electricity? They go to regions where the electrical price is cheap. Or they find places where energy is being produced and they can tap off of that energy basically for almost free. And it still costs $7,000 to produce a Bitcoin worth of electricity. Well, think about that for a minute. What's your home energy bill a month, you know, for all the electricity you use? I don't know. Maybe it's a couple hundred, maybe it's 100, 300, I don't know. But just think about that for a minute. How much energy $7,000 worth of electricity would be? That's a lot. Just for one Bitcoin. Actually kind of amazing, to tell you the truth. Let's take a look now at the gold price. Gold is at $1,900 today, and it has been holding above 1,900. It was up to 1,910. We did, from what I understand, we had a pretty big drop in the stock market, in the pre-market. Let's get in there and take a look at crypto today. Well, I should talk about the stock market when we get on stocks. Crypto today, 1797, and we're looking at a Bitcoin price of 37,868. Cryptos right now are very vulnerable to these downward trends. They're very vulnerable. I told you guys about this as a buying opportunity in the cryptos. Way back, like when cryptos was $67,000 for a Bitcoin. And right now it's nearly half the price. And this is the buying opportunity I was talking about. It's not going to last very much longer, guys. We're going to hit the Fed pivot. The Fed's going to change direction. And then crypto's is going to change direction. Now, will it go lower? Yeah, it might. It might go lower yet. Especially if we get the crashes needed to change the Fed's course of action. But it's going to end abruptly when it ends, when the Fed changes direction. And this is going to be the big moment for gold and silver too. All three, cryptos, gold, and silver. You guys are going to see. You'll see. This is the big one we've been waiting for all these years. Is this change in direction of the Fed that's coming? When they give in to the markets. This is the big one we've been waiting for. It's going to be a long one too, because it's basically over. This is a last hurrah to tamp down inflation and cool off inflation. And they are causing a little bit of disinflation, just a little bit. But inflation's still charging. So we got red hot inflation. They've basically cooled it down a few degrees, but it's still hot. When they are not cooling it down any longer, when they just basically can't do it because the world's economy is going to completely crash. Well, but you know, we should explore what would happen if the world economy completely crashed and the Fed just didn't do anything and watched the whole thing, watched all of it sink. Which is up to them. So, I mean, I can't dictate to them. I can't say to the Fed, hey, you know what? You guys are going to have to turn on this or the whole world's economy is going to completely crash. Knowing how crazy the things that have been going on are, I can't tell you guys for certain that they will relent and turn. The Fed will turn. I can't say that for a certainty because it's them. That's their decision. They could just stand back and let the whole thing just let it all wash out. And which would be it would get to the point ultimately where the money would start to disappear from the system, what we call money, and all the markets would drop, like they could drop 80-90%, and the system could freeze up, and all kinds of extenuating problems could come off of that like we've never seen before. But the Fed could just stand back and say, well, let her burn, boys. Let the system go down. We ain't going to step in. I mean, because it's their decision. I just think they will step in. I think they're going to step in pretty soon, and that's when you're going to see crypto start to go back up again. So watch out for that. Let's take a look now at the Dow Jones, down 255 points on the day, down 285 on the day so far, 33,793. So we're not 36,000 anymore. We're down to 33,000. I think it's probably going to be in the 20s someplace when they step in. I don't know. I just have to give it a guess, in the 20s. I think it's going to be in the 20s before they step in. But they might step in before it even gets there. They might step in when it's up in the 30s. But that's what we're waiting for, is the Fed to change the course on all of this. Let's take a look now at crude oil at $92.74. It's up $1.67 on the day so far. You hear talk about all these crude oil new reserves that they found, enough to last for 500 years and all this kind of stuff. First thing you got to understand about that is they always overestimate reserves by a lot, probably 10 times what's really there. They always overestimate it, and the reason why is they want to get things going. They want to get loans from the bank and everything, and get some sort of a pipe drilled or whatever, right? And if they make it look good, really good, like tons of money down here, boys, we got enough oil to last 10,000 years. We estimate the reserve at blah blah blah. Well, don't count on it being there. I wouldn't count on 1/10 of the oil being actually something that they could actually count on. And like, I think they overestimate by about 10 times. But that being said, a lot of the new oil that they're finding is deeper and stuff. It's just they went and picked all of the easy stuff, and it's the same way. It's like they've picked the lower apples off the apple tree, and it's the easy way that they do all these things. Oil, they do it with oil. They do it with all the mining reserves. Silver, gold. They've went through the earth. They've scoured all the easy stuff now, all the way through and everything. Count on it. They've walked through every inch of land and had their machines looking down into the ground trying to find everything. And they found all the easy stuff. If there was a Jig Clampett out there, where there was a big oil reserve right near the surface, and under high pressure, you think they haven't found it by now? Now they're just hunting for deep oil reserves here and there around the world. They're scouring the world for oil, silver, gold, and they're leaving nothing. It's so that way with everything. The environment, they're out there cutting down the rain. Well, we heard years ago how they're cutting down the rainforests. Every reserve on Earth of everything that they can use, whether it be a water reserve, they're in there doing something with it. The only reserves that are left that they don't touch so much are when they're in these big parks and stuff, like where they've took the land and they've taken a piece and they've selected it off and they've said nobody goes in there anymore. It's like a nature reserve or a big federal park or whatever, Kind of like Bix Weir. He talks about the gold out in the Grand Canyon. Very well might be there, but who's going to get the license to mine? Put a big mining operation in to get it? Because there are secluded areas around where nobody can get in to access any natural resources into those areas. They're very, very difficult. I don't know who would have the power to say, hey, we're going to go in and put up a big mining operation in this area. They've made it sacred, like, all those areas where but an awful lot of the earth has just been scoured for anything that they can get from it, Okay, we're going to move on now. We're going to take a look at the MOVE index today. 94.36 in the MOVE index. It's been going up lately, but it's kind of stabilized in under 100 now. Bonds and rates. We're seeing bond yields, except for the 30-year. 30 years falling a little bit, but all the rest are rising a little bit. But it's only marginal movement today. They're not moving much today. There was a surge into bonds that's happened. These yields were getting up rather high, like the 10-year was well above 2%, and now it's at 1.93. It's dropped back. This is a surge. I don't believe this is Fed buying and stuff. This was the market buying, but this is a signal. They consider bonds a safe haven asset, so they're moving into them. This is a signal something big's coming. This is also what's been supporting the dollar quite recently on the DXY. Let's take a look at the DXY. Today is at 95.94, and it's starting to turn downwards a little bit. Russia has the eastern breakaway regions of Ukraine. They are moving troops in, and the big shots out there, they don't really know exactly what to call this. They don't know if they'll call it an invasion or what they'll call it. But they're making their decisions, what they're going to do. And so, Russians are on the move in Ukraine. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, I know we all don't want to see a war in Ukraine. Especially a big war that would get out of control. We all don't want to see that. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.